Yo, 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 yo. What is going on, CoD Familia? It is your boy BN, aka Mr. Kingdom Builder. And in today's video, we are going to be breaking down what is now the largest KvK kingdom pool thus far. If you remember, in the last KvK pool, which was totaling 119 kingdoms going into, or I should say coming out of Bellerin Season 2, going into Season of Strife, right? That was 1 through 10, 22 through 90, I believe it was 213 through 240, and then 277 through 288, right? So total about 119 kingdoms. Today, there are more. And we're going to show you that. We're going to show you some early look deets, too, as well, along with some of the upcoming timelines and my general excitement, because it means that it is going to make it, I think, easier to pull data and show you what I think is kind of a nice first run that we ended up doing for the Season of Strife, for the first Season of Strife kingdoms and groups that ended up going in. So out of those 119 kingdoms, we got 18 groups that went in that you ended up seeing here, right? So we have SOS 1-1 through SOS 1-18. Right, I just say that for short. And so now we have a lot more groups that are coming into this one. And we're going to show you all that. So as always, if you enjoy the content, make sure you throw us up because it helps out a lot. So let's go over what are the kingdoms. We're going to go over the end of season timeline. Then we're going to go over some, at least one or two preliminary pieces of data. And we're going to compare the two groups. And then I'm going to give you some of my thoughts. So first and foremost, we have kingdoms 11 through 21. We got 65 and 86. So if you remember, those are the two kingdoms that opted not to register for the last season of Strife. But they may register for this one. We'll see. And then you have 91 through 118, 155 through 212. And then you get the Tamara Season 1 kingdoms, which is 241 through 264. And then the Bellerin Season 1 kingdoms, which is 289 through 312. Now, this totals, I believe it was 147 kingdoms now. And we'll go and look at my stats here in a moment. But that means that you're looking at what was previously 119, 28 more kingdoms that have been added to this pool. So again, making it the largest KvK kingdom pool to date. Then the pre-strifes are not going in. They're kind of already in their own right now. But it can be assumed that once the remaining kingdoms, right, so anyone that's in, so like these ones, SOT1-27, these kingdoms here, and then the groups that are here, these two as well. So once these finish, these are most likely going to be the next group that will go into the third season of Strife, KvK storyline, will be the kingdoms here in 24-17, the ones here in 24-16 for SOB2, again, these kingdoms, and maybe these ones for pre-Strife, right? So you're going to have another big kingdom pool going in for the third round. Now, from here, let's show you some of the timelines that we know are going to be popping or that will be happening for this storyline. So we have, now keep in mind this is a little bit different, we do have the added stage, which is Brink of War. So we know registration is coming on the 8th, so we're still 9 days away from registration hitting. Then we're going to get matchmaking on the 11th. We're going to get the results on the 16th, which is where we know what the groups are going to be. And then we get the Brink of War stage, so we'll be trying to monitor that. I'm actually going to attempt, as I am now, to try to level up some accounts to 16, as I'm working on one currently, and trying to do some for these kingdoms that are going in prepped. So if you are one of the stronger kingdoms, and you're a part of one of the top alliances, I may reach out and just ask, hey, if you have a spot available, or if you feel like one may become available, can I sit my scout in there for a couple days just to help level up, get some chests, and let my character get to 16? For those that are willing, thank you in advance. You may get a message from me. If you want to reach out, more than welcome to hit your boy up in DMs. Thank you. Then we're going to get the Brink of War stage. So hopefully, again, I'll be 16 so I can see that maybe by that time for at least some of the big groups. And then we have the season begins. Now, of course, we'll be able to see who registers and who doesn't. So that'll be something I'll be keeping an eye on as well. And I think we have a good yes.
Can I go to
I'll tell you in a little bit. Let me finish, okay? Thank you, sweetie. And so we will be monitoring that. And you're going to get everything. This group will get everything I did in the previous group, where we covered everything from, who registered, who didn't register. We're going to go over, I'll do the big group preview stats as well. So you'll be able to see, and I'll give you a preview of that too, of all of like the top kingdoms, top alliances, top players. We'll do the T5 counts. We'll probably raise the threshold though from 50 to maybe 55 or 60 mil depending. And then if I get a chance to show you some Brink Award data, we'll try to do that as well. And then we'll do like the actual T5 breakdowns that I did for the top 3 groups in the last KvK pool. For Season Strife, we'll probably do the top 3 groups going up for this as well. And so again, and I'll try and think if there's anything else maybe I can add in or work around if I can kind of find some time here and there in between or to add on in addition. But that's at least kind of the groundwork you can expect to get from me going forward, right, for any of the big pools. And I will say that I like the fact that we're getting bigger pools now compared to having, at least when it comes to like before they go into their groups, right? It just, I don't know, I feel like it's a lot easier for me to show it off for a lot of different kingdoms compared to if they did, groups of like 8 or 10 and then just did multiple of those, and then you just end up getting, so many different KvK seasons. Now, let's go ahead and show you some stats or data that we have so far. So this is where we're at. And again, for our Season of Strife, now this is for the new group, and I'm also going to show you some examples here in a moment of, again, some previews of just what you can expect from what we did on the last round, just in case if there's anyone that is viewing this from these new kingdoms, which again, you can see here, right, 11 through 21, 65, 86, 91, 118, 155 through 212, 241, 264, and 289 through 312. Now, one of the interesting things I want to point out, which is some initial data that I already went through, and this probably has a margin of like 1 or 2 plus or minus, just give or take. But it's most likely addition, I should say. It could be 1 or 2 more, again, because I am currently auditing all the kingdoms, and I'm going to try and finish that up today throughout tomorrow, where I'll go through and just see if there's any new kings or queens. But the last one we did, which was, again, I said it was 119 kingdoms, 147 this time. Last round, last SOS, there was 74 kings or queens. That totaled for 62.81% of the 119 kingdoms had a king or queen. The interesting part about this group is that there's 28 more kingdoms, but there's the same amount of kings and queens. So notice how the previous was 74, this is 74. But then notice how pretty much about half, literally almost half of the kingdoms that are in this group have a king or queen. You have to really understand what this means as far as if you think about the amount of inactive or deadish kingdoms that are just not strong enough to take the dragon or do not have enough people, right? It could be a combination of not having enough people and or not being strong enough to take final objective, or the dragon in this case to establish a king or queen. So what was previously 62.2% is now 50.3%. So to me, that's a little telling. It also gives us a little bit of a peek inside kind of how some of the newer kingdoms, because again, keep in mind, the last highest we got was 288. Now the highest we get is 312. So now we're breaking into the 300s here, and you're seeing that, it's kind of telling, right? So you could see here, if I minus, if I do some quick math, what's that? 26, 36, 46, 45. So 45, and then 73, 45, 110, 118, 45, 73. Yeah, what is that, 118, right? We'll say that. It feels ish right. So that means you have 118 kingdoms that do not have a king or queen and are not strong, are not strong enough to take it. Now, that also doesn't mean, keep in mind, some kingdoms that are able to take dragon doesn't also automatically mean that they are healthy and, I would say in normal activity range. They could still be below a normal activity range and still cap dragon, right? Because remember the way that the behemoths work now in Home Kingdom, where you have up to 50, they basically get up to 50% weaker as the timeline goes on. In your kingdom, or in your Tamaris home kingdom. And so, right, that's something that you'll do. And then I believe it is also applying to the KvK for the normal behemoths, but not for the elites, from what I understand. But that is still a large amount. So anyways, it is interesting to me kind of how that looks. But again, here's the dates and timelines where we kind of showed you. Like I said, I'll be making this public. For those of you that are curious, I don't think I've deleted everything yet. I think only the seasons. But if I show you the previous one, right, you can look forward. I'll be doing things like this again. We'll be maybe trying to add in a couple other little pieces of columns here and there. And if you have any ideas, please let me know in the comments down below. Right, we'll also do our KvK map positions. This sheet will be public as well once the matchups are officially announced. I'll probably do that. I'll probably make it public at least 24 hours after. Right, I'll try and do something for Brink of War. Right, you can see the servers that we did there. Right, we'll show you kind of 1 through however many, as long as they're over 1 billion power. Alliances, I think we ended up doing a 5 bill threshold, so we might do that. I might lower it to 3 or 4. We'll see. Personal power as well. I think we did anyone over 100 mil. So it turned out actually to be a lot. I think it was, 819 people that we ended up tracking. We'll also be looking at migration. I forgot to mention that. That is something that I can actually be doing for this particular group. So you can expect to see that from me as well. I believe migration will be ending, I believe it's at the matchmaking stage, I believe. So you can migrate up until, because I think people we're still testing it after registration. So I believe it goes up till matchmaking that you'll be able to still migrate in. But you can see, we can already take a look and see people that have been migrating. So I'll be doing probably my next video covering these kingdoms in this pool. We'll be going over kind of how the migration is looking so far. And I might do that in a day or two at the earliest. And then we'll also do it at the end. So right before matchmaking hits and migration closes, we'll look at kind of who are the migration winners and losers, right? Who got in the most amount of people to the least amount of people, as we kind of add that to the sheet as well. And if there's, like I said, if there's anything else you'd like to see me do, even if it's just outside of adding a column to a particular page on the spreadsheet, if it's a different type of coverage, let me know, right? I'll see if I might be able to make it work. With that in mind, that's going to be it for me. I'd love to know what you guys think about the previous KvK Kingdom pool for that SOS and how this one compares. Do you think there's anything to worry about when it comes to the total amount of kingdoms versus the amount that have a king or queen in it? Do you think that's indicative of something, or no, not really? Hey, it's just nice that they're adding in a lot more kingdoms into the pool, and maybe it'd be nice if if that may be an expectation going forward. I'd love to hear what you think. That's going to do it for me. As always, until next time, we'll catch y'all later.